a lot of speed.
He warming up
We're
now.
sparring.
That's what we need.
We're sparring.
Warm up.
Some
I know
8-year-olds. I got the 8-year-olds in there.
If I find out anything, I'm gonna beat yo and I'm gonna beat Jaden on Love on my mama. I'm gonna beat both of y'all ass on my mama. And he laughing. He laughing.
Our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
You know what I mean? I was misinformed. You know, you gotta know what somebody's going through, man, or have gone through, and where they've ended up. Now, you have to understand that. You gotta understand their DNA, you know. And we as fans, we fail to realize that. We as commentators and fanboys and all that, like we all.
Gervonta Davis expressed frustration after watching Jake Paul train with Shakur Stevenson ahead of their upcoming bout. He acknowledged that Jake can do as he pleases, but insisted it won't affect the outcome. Tank emphasized that his true power will be evident when they face off in the ring, and he's confident he will come out on top. According to him, all the training and sparring Jake does now won't hold any weight once the fight begins.
Don't worry about it. I don't gotta sit up here. Let anything happen, and I'ma show you and him. Bet.
And it begs the question, Tank.
Nothing.
Boxing analysts have highlighted the irony surrounding the reactions to the upcoming Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight. While some fans and commentators believe Tank's decision disappoints traditional boxing enthusiasts, others view it as a chance for promotion or personal benefit. Even Shakur Stevenson acknowledged this dynamic, mentioning that although Tank's choice might frustrate purists, he remains willing to spar with Jake Paul to support the sport and maintain his relevance. This scenario underscores how business interests, reputation, and fan expectations are deeply intertwined in modern boxing.
Criticism for fighting Jake Paul, but yet at the same time, he is going to fight Jake Paul. Now, what I find interesting is how people on one hand are going to criticize it, but on the other hand, try to take advantage of it for their own profit. So Shakur Stevenson, definitely for press purposes, definitely for publicity purposes, offers to get in the training camp and spar for Jake Paul. Spar Jake Paul for the Tank fight. Now, why would he be doing this? It's called copycat crap. Because the last big fight that took place, which was Terrence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez, guess what happened? Jaron Ennis went and sparred Canelo Alvarez to help Canelo Alvarez prepare for Terrence Crawford. So, do I think that is coincidental? No, I do not. I think that it is trying to have your cake and eat it too. You are trying to complain and say Gervonta Davis is not a real competitive fighter, that this is a sideshow, freak show fight, but yet you want your name associated with it and you want to participate in it for your own good gain. Let me assure you that when Terrence Crawford said in an interview that he wouldn't fight Jake Paul, that's not a serious fight, and then they said, well, would you fight Jake Paul for $200 million? And he said, I'd be fighting Jake Paul.
Analysts suggest that Gervonta Davis is largely motivated by financial incentives when planning his upcoming fights. His recent match with Jake Paul has sparked debate, with many believing Tank prioritizes monetary rewards over building a lasting legacy or solidifying his reputation in boxing. Experts note that for fans to see him face top-tier opponents like Shakur Stevenson or Lamont Roach, his promoter Turk would need to arrange a substantial payday, comparable to high-profile fights such as Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford. At this stage of his career, it seems that financial considerations outweigh the pursuit of competitive acclaim for Tank.
Look at how Tank started acting after he made $40 million with Ryan. When he make another $40+ million with Jake,
he's gonna go make $40 million fighting Jake Paul, and then he's gonna come back and fight Lamont Roach for what? He's gonna come back and fight Shakur Stevenson for what? He's not gonna fight none of those guys.
No, the only way he fight any of them guys, Turkey gonna have to hit him with the Crawford money. Because that's the thing. You do this for a reason, bro. Like, I get it. You want him to be competitive, but his goal is money. He made 40 with Ryan plus everything in between. Now he get this 40, 50 million plus. He don't even got to fight no more. So now if you want him to fight Shakur, give me that Canelo money, man.
Shakur Stevenson, a highly regarded boxer, expressed his frustration after Tank decided to fight Jake Paul instead of facing him. He implied that avoiding a bout with him could be seen as evading a serious challenge, which many consider disrespectful to the sport. Shakur emphasized that true fighters embrace tough opponents, and opting for a crossover fight instead of taking on a top pro like himself undermines boxing's integrity. His comments have further fueled the ongoing debate about Tank's motivations and the balance between financial gain and sporting honor.
What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fight?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he chooses that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it. I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
Tank Davis responded firmly to fans who questioned whether he's avoiding elite fighters such as Shakur Stevenson. He made it clear that public opinion doesn't sway him, noting that fans often shift their support after a single disappointing performance. Tank emphasized that his focus is on his career and personal ambitions rather than trying to satisfy every critic or supporter. His reaction reflects a confident and unapologetic approach to handling pressure, while maintaining control over his own decisions and fight trajectory.
Gervonta, a lot of boxing fans aren't happy with the fact you've taken this fight rather than the road rematch, fights with the likes of Shakur, Devin Haney, Teofimo, etc. What do you make of that reaction? And can we still expect to see those fights?
Why should I care what they think? When y'all switch somebody can have a bad day and y'all switching on who y'all favorite fighter is or who this person is supposed to fight. Like y'all need to sit back and be fans and just enjoy the sport. Like y'all even talk about people's personal lives. Like why when it comes to that?
Michael J. White weighed in on the discussion, stating that regardless of Jake Paul's performance or the buzz he generates, he shouldn't be regarded as a genuine boxing champion. White emphasized the distinction between exhibition or crossover bouts and official title fights sanctioned by major boxing organizations. His comments reflect the opinion shared by many pro fighters and fans who view Paul's matches more as entertainment than legitimate championship contests, reinforcing skepticism about the legitimacy of the fight.
Do you think that Jake Paul could win a legitimate boxing title?
No, no, because he's so far behind someone of his equal age who's been doing it for a very long time. He started very late. That's why I applaud exactly what he's doing. I think he should be doing exactly what he's doing. If he fought a legitimate, top 10 cruiserweight, I will shut the up. If he's able to fight an actual contender of the top 10, that would be astonishing if he can get to that point. If he beat anybody in the top 10, that would be, to me, the greatest thing he's ever accomplished.
Yeah, because historically he's fought old men.
I think he's done it the right way, because there's a possibility where a 50-year-old Anderson Silva might be able to beat him. Who thought he was going to beat Tyson? I really thought, oh, Tyson's just going to go to the body and just punish his body, because I thought that that's what would win him thing, but he did not do that. I think it makes for a good matchup. He's made for great spectacle.
Daniel Cormier, former champion and well-known analyst, expressed criticism of the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight, describing it as lackluster and unexciting. He noted that Tank doesn't require the financial gain and that this matchup doesn't align with the level of competition expected from him. By calling the fight dull, Cormier questioned its overall value and appeal, implying it's driven more by curiosity and social media hype than by advancing the sport's competitive integrity.
I thought it was 190. Dean, that's bad. Because you know what that tells me? That tells me that even he recognizes that he's too big for him. Yes. He recognizes that he's too big for him.
I'm wondering how this even came about. It can't be that Gervonta Davis needs money. That can't be the
He's
reason
been
why
a
he's
world
taking this
champion
fight.
so recently. How could he be broke?
That's what I'm saying. Like, is he doing this for money? And then why and how is even Jake Paul doing this when no one respects it? Like, I can't think of anybody that respects this.
But Jake Paul has been able to carve out and make his own lane in boxing, and I've never seen anything like it, bro. He literally, I mean, we don't know what weight class he fights in any situation. We just don't know. He kind of makes his own rules.
He makes his own rules.
And it seems like people are playing by those rules. I remember a couple weeks ago, the WBC and the Jose Sulaiman was very upset that he wasn't able to put the belt on the winner at Canelo versus Crawford. That's the thing that's happened since the beginning of time. Those guys are very powerful in boxing. But with Zuffa boxing, it was almost like that power was getting stripped away. They were very disappointed. But how can you take those sanctioning organizations seriously when they are sanctioning this?
That's my point. That's my point. That's why I think that this whole thing that we have, this boxing and this MMA argument and Zuffa getting into boxing, our argument is misplaced because things like this should not be happening. And the fact that boxing is allowing this to happen is an embarrassment to the sport.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I talked about this before. Like, I didn't know why they were fighting because, I mean, Gervonta Davis' last fight was at 136 pounds.
Commentator Show-Eyes the Adult observed that despite the unusual nature of the fight, public curiosity is expected to generate significant viewership. Tank's recent comments about potentially stepping away from boxing have sparked uncertainty and speculation among fans about whether the bout will take place. The ongoing exchange between Tank and Shakur Stevenson on social media platforms like X has heightened these doubts, as both fighters trade pointed remarks about each other's abilities. This rivalry adds an extra layer of drama, blending entertainment with competitive excitement.
Do we think the fight is ridiculous between you and Jake Paul? Yes. Are we going to watch it? Yeah. Do we like it? Maybe. Maybe. And let me tell you why it's maybe, why it's not no, why it's not yes. It's maybe because many of us, we just don't believe it. We just don't believe the fight is real. We know it's an exhibition, but we just don't believe that you two are going to try to take each other's heads off. Other than that, it's kind of interesting. You have a 5'5" lightweight versus a heavyweight Jake Paul, who's really not a boxer with an amateur background and all that shit, but he's been knocking people out. It's kind of interesting if we knew y'all were trying to knock each other's head off. And we don't know that because Mike Tyson did knock out Roy Jones, Floyd Mayweather, Rock Logan Paul, they kept him standing. That shit, we get tired of that shit, right? We need confidence. Are you guys going to try to knock each other's heads off? Jake Paul, when you swing at Tank, are you going to try to hit him and knock that little man over the top rope into the damn fifth aisle? Are you going to try to hit him and make his ass evaporate? Or Tank, are you going to show the world that Jake Paul should not be in the square circle with a real boy? Are you going to try to knock his ass out, sleep him, drop him like you did Ryan Garcia, stop him the way you did Mario Barrios, knock him out like you did Leo Santa Cruz? Are we going to get a viral knockout? Are y'all going to try to stop?
Teofimo Lopez, a leading professional boxer, described the fight primarily as entertainment instead of a serious contest. He emphasized the contrast between traditional championship bouts and crossover events, suggesting that the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis matchup is more about attracting viewers than determining true boxing dominance. His perspective echoes a wider belief that many contemporary fights prioritize spectacle and media hype over genuine athletic competition.
Great fight, great matchup. It's fun for the sport of boxing. It makes it fun, it makes it entertaining. That's what it's all about, you know, and may the best man win. It's an exhibition regardless, it doesn't count.
Doesn't count? Yeah. We need to see you and Tank though. Has to happen.
What happened?
It has to happen, you and Tank.
We'll see, man. It's up to the champ. You're the champ, right? He's playing. He's a celebrity champ. Ooh.
Tim Bradley, a former world champion, highlighted the personal and professional pressures Tank Davis faces away from the spotlight. He urged critics to take into account the mental and physical toll on fighters before being too quick to judge. Bradley pointed out that Tank has recently encountered significant challenges, and ongoing scrutiny from fans, media, and analysts only heightens that pressure. This perspective serves as a reminder that fighters operate under intense stress, and recognizing their circumstances can foster a more balanced and respectful discussion about their career choices.
Tank, you know what I mean? I was misinformed. You know, you gotta know what somebody's going through, man, or have gone through, and where they've ended up. Now, you have to understand that. You gotta understand their DNA, you know, and we as fans, we fail to realize that. We as commentators and fanboys and all that, like, we all don't do that. We don't do our research. You know, you gotta know about somebody's history. So, like, if you understand where Tank came from, if you understand his background, then you understand how he thinks and why he feels the way he feels. You know, you do. So, I mean, for instance, like, his parents, right? His parents were drug addicts, in and out of the system, in and out of jail. You know, he lived with his grandmother. You know, like, you gotta understand when he started boxing, why he started boxing. Understand that, you know, that what the influence that Calvin has had on his life, and how if their relationship isn't great, how that affects him. And this is not making any excuses, people. This isn't. I'm not making no excuses. I'm just giving you what I think, and I'm giving you the facts surrounding all of this. You know, I remember back in 2012, you know, I'm living right. I'm living civil. I'm taking care of my business. I feel like I'm doing everything right.
Analysts have weighed in on what the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight signifies for the sport of boxing. While the matchup is lucrative and captures public interest, it may not enhance boxing's credibility. Paul's strategy of selecting high-profile opponents with noticeable differences in size and skill sparks curiosity, but can undermine traditional competitive standards. Experts point out that although the fight draws significant attention, it raises questions about the legitimacy and professionalism that fans expect. Jake Paul's decision to take on Tank Davis clearly reflects this approach. The substantial weight difference adds to the spectacle, prompting speculation about Tank's performance and whether Paul can defy expectations. This calculated setup ensures strong viewership, media buzz, and fan engagement, highlighting the business-driven and entertainment-focused nature of today's boxing promotions.
Why are you not fighting guys your own fucking size? Look at this, John. This is embarrassing. And not to mention, Georgia already said, no, you can't have this fight here. So they moved it somewhere else. Dave, do you know where they moved the fight? Can you look it up? This is embarrassing. Look, he actually put his hands on his knees, and he was still the same height, maybe a little bit taller than Gervonta Davis. I mean, I'm all in on Gervonta. I want Gervonta to win this fight. I want him to hit. I mean, I'm not saying he can knock him out, but I think if he hits him to the body a couple times, John, he may be able to catch him. A lazy jab or something, you know, he might be able to pop him to the body and get him good. I'm hoping. Jake Paul down with a body shot.
Oh, man.
Oh, geez.
Could you imagine?
I would it'd be great.
It's a win right there.
That's a solid win right there. Commentators noticed that during the face-off, Tank looked noticeably smaller compared to Jake Paul, which some found surprising, even embarrassing. However, analysts stress that Tank's skill set, speed, and experience in the ring make it very challenging for Paul to reach his level. Tank's agility, accuracy, and technique keep him as the favored fighter, showing that looks can be deceiving and that the real outcome will be decided by their performance in the ring, not just by moments from promotional events.
I think that the one thing that Jake Paul is really going to have to try to figure out in this fight is, how do I catch this little son of a bitch? Because he's fast. And, you know, Gervonta, I would, you know, I'm not telling Gervonta Davis to, you know, cut down and weight like he normally does. Just get in shape. Whatever you weigh, you weigh. Don't try to add weight. There's not enough time for you to add good weight that's not going to make you tighter or anything like that. So just come in at your normal, walk around, good weight. You've been training hard. Whatever it is, because they've said 195 is the max.
That's it for today's video. Make sure to stay tuned for what's coming next. And remember, this is Final Bell. Be sure to check out our other videos. Thanks so much for watching.